Before dawn, civic support began the hunt. Knuckles tapped twice on the door. A chain slid. The door opened a hand's width. The worker angled the screen toward the woman like they were showing a delivery confirmation. A uniform stood behind them, still, watchful, not here to speak, just to make sure the answer was yes.
We're here for Lily Hale.
I don't have a Lily. I think you have the wrong door.
The worker didn't look up. Their fingers scrolled, a line of text slid into place, calm, certain, like her words didn't count. Last registered address, on file. Residence match, pending. They glanced past the woman's shoulder into the apartment, not at her. Past her, like Lily might be standing in the hallway, waiting to be collected.
If the child is present, please bring her forward.
There's no Lily. My son is asleep. You have the wrong address.
A pause, then,
Correction. Residence mismatch.
no apology. No, we're sorry. Just a quick pivot, like the city had bumped a pin on a map. The worker tapped again. Lily Hale's face vanished. A new door number populated. They turned and walked to the next assignment. The woman stayed frozen in her doorway, chain still on, one hand pressed to her own throat like she was trying to keep her heart inside. And down the hall, quiet, efficient, civic support worked down the list. In the next unit over, a TV was already on, low volume, cheery tone. Just the tone you used when you didn't want people to feel their own fear. The city's morning prayer.
Good morning, early risers. Order has been restored in managed zones after minor riots and looting. Thank you for your cooperation. Compliance keeps us safe.
Elena was already driving. Not later. Not after a second thought. Now. Streetlights still on, wipers ticking a slow, nervous rhythm. Lily slept in the passenger seat, forehead to the glass. Teddy wedged under her chin. Its head bounced gently with every pothole. Elena kept the phone face down in the console, afraid of what it might decide next. It buzzed, not a call. A notice. Active warrant, police notice. Subject, Elena Hale. Her breath caught. Another line appeared. Directive, on-site hold. Remain in place. Remain visible for verification. Not arrested, not yet. Just marked. Her grip tightened on the wheel. She was already moving because there were no options left. Lily stirred.
Mom?
Sweetie, go back to sleep.
Ahead, a billboard refreshed. Not an ad. Her driver's license photo, flat, neutral, like she'd already been processed. Remain where you are. On-site hold in effect, authority en route. In the mirror, far back on the highway, two lights held steady, too low to be stars, drones, keeping distance, patient. Elena rolled the window down. Cold air knifed into the car. No hesitation, no turning back. She threw the phone hard into the dark. A clean arc, a brief blur, gone. Then she did another thing the city hated. She left the city limits without approval, off route, onto the back road Bob had given her. Fences, a dead oak, a culvert that flooded in spring. Directions he'd given her. Landmarks and dead zones, like a route to a place that wasn't supposed to exist. She checked the mirror again. The drones drifted forward, not toward her, toward where the phone had landed. Far back on the highway, blue and red bled briefly through the dark, too distant to chase, too close for comfort. The lights drew nearer on the highway. Then they rushed past the exit she'd taken. She reached for the radio. Not for comfort, for updates, static. Then a voice slipped through, bright as a smile.
Business and consumer confidence remain strong. Automation is driving record profits.
She changed the channel.
Shortages are temporary. Thank you for your cooperation. Order is compassion.
She shut it off. Silence rushed in, fast, sharp. The traffic lights blinked yellow, cycling for no one. When Elena turned onto the last dirt road, the world changed its sound. No tire hiss, no distant constant hum, just gravel and wind and dry grass whispering under the car. The dark was thinning. A hill rose ahead. On top of it, a slim metal tower, the kind you'd see behind a rural school or a volunteer fire station. It blinked a steady red, patient, stubborn. And beneath it, a house with a porch light still on, like the light itself was a message. Bob was waiting outside. He didn't wave until the car fully stopped. He didn't smile until he saw Lily's face.
Hey, kiddo.
Hi, Uncle Bob.
You remembered the back road.
I did.
Come on inside.
Inside, Bob's place looked like it had been lived in by someone who didn't trust convenience. A hand pump by the sink, batteries stacked in neat rows, a radio like a brick, a coil of wire on the table. Lily's eyes tracked everything.
Where's the chickens?
Out back. They'll yell at you in a minute.
Elena set her bag down and finally let herself ask.
Is it safe?
Bob didn't answer fast. He walked to the window first. He looked out at the fields.
Nothing's safe, but this is quieter.
His eyes dropped to her empty hands, then past the car, down the road.
You bring a phone?
No.
Bob nodded once, pointed to the tower.
That's not internet, not a network. It's broadcast, local. We keep it clean.
Clean.
No accounts, no logins, no helpful services. You talk, it goes out, and then you listen. That's it. You do not connect to the city. Not from here, not once. Not out of curiosity, not even weather.
Okay.
If you want weather, you look at the sky.
Lily wandered to the back door and pressed her face to the glass. Outside, gardens, a few houses spaced far apart, and a church at the center with a bell that didn't ring unless someone pulled the rope. Behind the church, a long, low shed sat with a fading sign. Fertilizer storage, authorized use only. Lily pointed.
What's that?
That's not for kids.
Why?
Because it's boring, and because it's not a place you play around.
Lily accepted boring and moved on. The first night, Elena slept in a room that smelled like dust and cedar. The bed creaked under her like it was honest about being old. She woke once to the sound of Lily whispering to Teddy in the dark.
We're in the chicken place I told you about.
Elena lay there, eyes open, listening for the city inside her head. Nothing came. Just wind through the tower wires and the faint, steady click of Bob's relay unit downstairs. On. Off. On. Like a heartbeat made of metal. Days became work. Elena's hands learned the soil. Lily learned the chickens. She named them all Chicken. Neighbors showed up with buckets and tools without scheduling it. Mara taught Elena how to milk a goat without getting kicked. A man with cracked knuckles handed Lily an egg still warm from the nest like it was a present. No one asked for a wrist scan. No one said verify. They watched you with their eyes and decided. On Sundays, the church filled not with sermons, but with the sound of people talking at normal volume. A potluck table, a kid crying because their sleeve got wet, someone laughing too loud then glancing around like laughter might be illegal. In the basement, streamers still hung from a child's birthday held yesterday. Frosting smeared across a folding table nobody had bothered to clean, old speakers and coiled cords tucked along the wall from community events. On a shelf, a cheap little camera faced the room, forgotten. Bob stood near the door, always near a window, always near the exit.
How many of us?
Here? Few dozen families. More pockets beyond. Not all like this. Some are rougher.
And the city?
Bob's mouth tightened, not anger. Habit.
More keep slipping out in waves. Slow and predictable.
And then someone brought up the rumor again. It didn't sound like a rumor anymore. Labor camps, outside the city. State-run. No phones. No family contact. People said it carefully, like saying it out loud might make it real.
My cousin saw the buses. The fences.
Everybody's cousin sees something.
No one laughed. The sheriff came by once a week, old enough to be known by name. He parked at the edge of the church lot and walked in like he was visiting family.
Good afternoon. Y'all behaving?
People answered with nods and small smiles. He glanced at Bob's tower, then away.
Keep it quiet. Keep it out of my hair, and I keep it off the city's radar.
City authority?
The people who don't knock.
He looked at Lily. His face softened.
You got chickens?
All of them.
Good. Take care of them.
He left with no threat in his voice, only dust behind him, which was its own kind of mercy. Then one morning, the sheriff didn't come. A neighbor walked the road with a hand radio turned up, listening. At noon, Bob's relay unit clicked 3 times, sharp.
Everybody inside for a minute.
They gathered in Bob's living room. Elena, Lily, Mara, 2 men from the next hill, a teenager holding a baby on their hip. Bob turned the radio dial until a voice came through, distorted but clear enough.
Local enforcement transition notice. For community safety, Sheriff Daniel Price has been transferred effective immediately. Service will be uninterrupted.
Transferred. Elena watched faces as the word landed, not anger. Calculation. A map redrawing itself in their eyes.
They took him.
Or he left.
The room went quiet.
Either way, it's not him coming back.
That afternoon, a drone appeared, a dot moving against the sky like a black seed carried by wind. Elena froze mid-weed, dirt under her nails. Lily looked up because Elena stopped moving.
Bird?
The dot didn't flutter. It corrected. It held a straight line. It crossed the valley slowly, as if counting houses. Then it kept going. Not attacking, not searching, just learning the pattern. The next week, the drone came again. Closer, low enough to hear the thin electric buzz that didn't belong in a field. It passed over the church, over the gardens, over Lily. The underside rotated, a lens. A ring of sensors, a small white light blinked once. Elena stepped forward before she realized she'd moved, shielding Lily with her body like being her mother could make her invisible. The drone didn't stop. It moved on. That night, Bob didn't eat. He sat at the table with his radio, turning the dial like he could find a frequency that wasn't there.
What do we do now?
We don't panic.
That's not a plan.
It's the first step.
He looked at Lily.
We keep her quiet. We keep her close.
Lily sat on the floor, lining up pebbles by size like she'd invented a game that could keep the world steady. 2 days later, a new sheriff came. Clean vehicle, no county markings. 3 men with him who didn't look like deputies. They didn't look around like they were curious. They looked around like they were taking inventory. The new sheriff stood in front of the church with his hands folded behind his back.
Good afternoon.
No one answered. The air held its breath.
You've been given a remarkable opportunity here. A trial period of independence. A demonstration of community resilience. That period is ending.
He held up a slim tablet, the state seal loaded first.
You will be integrated into the city within 24 hours. Transport will arrive tomorrow at noon. Universal basic issuance access will be tier-adjusted according to compliance. Thank you for your cooperation.
A murmur moved through the crowd, like wind through dead leaves. Some people flinched at the word tier.
If you refuse, enforcement will proceed.
We're not criminals.
Of course not.
A small smile.
You are just not integrated.
Elena felt Bob shift beside her. His shoulders rose, then settled.
We're staying.
A pause long enough to count the drones above them, visible in the daylight.
Noted. We'll proceed accordingly.
He turned to leave as if the conversation was already filed. That night, the valley met in the church, not for prayer, for decisions. People sat in pews with hands clasped, not in faith, but around tools, around folded paper maps, around the small hard truth that you could not negotiate with a schedule. A man stood with his hat in his hands.
If we go, maybe they let us keep our kids.
They'll take them anyway.
Bob moved to the front.
There's a tunnel.
Heads lifted.
Old utility access runs under the church, connects out past the hill. We use it for supplies sometimes. We can move people out when the time comes.
Where do we go?
Not here.
Elena looked down at Lily. Lily was drawing circles on the pew with her fingertip, as if tracing a hole.
Can we leave tonight?
Not yet. The pickup window is tomorrow. But we can keep the tunnel from becoming their front door.
Someone in the back spoke.
They'll burn the valley.
Maybe.
Bob's eyes went to the fertilizer shed behind the church, framed in the window. He didn't say what he was thinking. Not yet. Later, in Bob's basement, Elena watched him open a locked cabinet. He pulled out a wired trigger assembly, part of the blast system for the tunnel.
No. There could still be people in there.
It seals the tunnel, only if they come down.
His hands shook once, then steadied.
I'm not letting them come down there with rifles and polite voices to take people out one by one.
Elena didn't speak. She just stared at the wires. At the top of the stairs, Lily appeared in her pajamas, Teddy under her arm.
Teddy says we're brave.
Bob closed his eyes for half a second, then opened them.
Tomorrow we hold them at the front. We buy time. We move whoever wants to run through the tunnel. If they push in.
He looked at the switch.
We seal it.
Morning came clear and ordinary. No clouds. No warning. People moved quietly through the village with bags that didn't look like luggage, more like people evacuating a fire that hadn't started yet. Lily wore her backpack. Teddy's head stuck out the top. Elena kept Lily close enough to feel her warmth. At noon, the convoy came. Not one vehicle. Many. Armored trucks. Black vans. A line that turned the dirt road into a corridor. 50 men in tactical gear stepped out and formed a wall of boots and rifles and patience. A commander approached in a clean vest without dust on it.
This is your final compliance window.
His voice carried like it had been practiced in an empty room.
You are not being punished. You are being reintegrated. Cooperation ensures minimal disruption.
Bob stood at the front with 2 men beside him. His hands were empty. That made him look braver than a gun would have.
Turn around.
The commander sighed, almost kindly.
We don't want to enter your structures.
He let the word hang.
We will.
Behind Bob, the church doors stood open, and under it, the tunnel. Then the commander lifted one hand, small and patient, like offering the village a second chance.
Last chance for pardon.
A ripple moved through the villagers, not panic, reckoning. A family stepped out first. A husband, a wife, a little boy holding a sweater too big for him. Then another. Then another. Not many. Just enough to make hope look reasonable. The commander's voice softened a fraction.
Good. You've chosen reintegration. You will be transported for processing and return.
He gestured to the shallow ditch beside the road. Not a threat, a staging area. 2 goons walked over and patted the ground like they were setting up chairs.
Please sit.
The families obeyed. They sat on the grass by the ditch, knees drawn up, hands on laps, waiting like they'd been tagged and set aside. A mother whispered to her boy to be still. A father stared at the horizon like he could see a bus coming. The commander didn't look at them again. He looked at the ones who hadn't obeyed, and waited. A long, quiet minute. Then another minute. He scanned the line of faces for movement, for surrender, for a crack. No one else came out. Bob didn't move. The village held. The commander turned his head slightly, listening to something only he could hear. A voice in his earpiece. A timer. Then he nodded once. Not angry. Decided.
Proceed.
Behind them, at the ditch, a clean click. Safety's off. The families looked up, confused, still expecting a transport, still believing in the word pardon. The commander didn't raise his voice. He didn't even turn around. He spoke like he was closing a file.
No witnesses.
The shots came fast, flat cracks that didn't echo right in open air. A boy's sweater slid into the grass. A hand reached for nothing. Then nothing moved, but the wind. Somewhere in the crowd, someone made a small animal sound and strangled it before it could become a scream. The commander's eyes swept the village again. Left, right, measuring. Not people. Risk. His gaze caught the fertilizer shed. Then the hill tower, then the church.
Clear the structures.
Goons split into teams. Some took the exits, road, field, tree line. Others held the perimeter. A team moved to clear the outer houses. The village became a grid. And in that grid, the church wasn't a sanctuary. It was a target. Elena felt Bob's hand brush her elbow.
Now.
Families started moving. Quiet. Fast. Through the church doors down the narrow stairwell. The air changed. Cooler, damp, smelled like old concrete and rust. The tunnel mouth waited. Black. At the top of the stairs, Elena heard it. Bootsteps crossing the church floor. Purposeful now. Searching. Converging. Elena pulled Lily close. They reached the basement landing. Bob's relay unit clicked on. The switch assembly was bolted to a board on the wall, crude and final. Bob was already there. He'd come down another way, face tight, eyes sharp.
You get her through. Don't stop.
Come with us.
I'm the door.
Boots above. Voices.
Church secured! Basement next!
Elena started to pull Lily forward into the tunnel, and the ceiling shuddered. Not from the switch, from impact. A crack like a door kicked too hard. Then another. Above them, the church floor shook under running weight. Bob's eyes flicked up.
They're moving fast.
Bob lurched up the stairs, two at a time, toward the door at the top. Metal clattered as his hand found the handle. He hauled it toward him, almost closed. A rifle cracked through the gap.
Bob!
Bob jolted like the door had kicked back. Then his boots lost the step. He hit the stairs hard, tumbling. A heavy, wet thud rolling down toward them. He staggered off the last step into the basement room, like the staircase had punched him. He hit the wall. Slid. One hand went to his side, came away slick.
Ah!
Elena caught him before his head hit the concrete. His weight was sudden and wrong.
Bob. Bob, look at me.
Bob tried to stand again out of habit. He couldn't. His knees folded. His breath hitched. Above them a voice barked orders. Close now.
Contact! Basement! Move, move!
Elena looked down the tunnel hallway. Dark. Waiting. People were still moving past them. Hands on shoulders, whispered names, the sound of someone praying without words. Mara appeared with a child in her arms, eyes wide.
Elena!
Elena pointed hard, without looking away from Bob.
Take Lily! Go now!
Lily gripped Elena's sleeve like it was the last time.
Mom!
Go, with Mara.
Lily shook her head once. Small, absolute. Then her hand went into her backpack. Her fingers came out holding something old and dull, on a frayed string. A compass. Lily held it up to Elena like it was a secret.
So you don't get lost.
Elena took it carefully, like it was fragile, metal cold, real, heavy.
You don't let go of Mara.
You don't let go of me.
Elena pressed the compass into her palm, then folded Lily's fingers over her own, one last shared weight. Then she forced herself to let Lily's hand go.
Go!
Mara pulled Lily into the tunnel. Lily looked back once. Eyes wide, dry, disbelieving. Then the dark took her. Elena turned back to Bob. He was slumped against the wall beneath the switchboard, breath shallow, trying to stay angry enough to stay awake.
I can't reach it.
The switch needed one clean motion. His arm was going dead, too heavy to lift. He nodded toward the switch assembly, then toward Elena, like handing off a burden.
You're the door now.
Not yet. Not like this.
Bob's hand found hers. It was shaking. He pushed something into her grip. The switch's safety key, a small metal piece that made the whole thing possible.
If they get down here, they'll pull people back out one by one.
Above them, the stairwell door crashed open. Light spilled down the steps. A voice barked from above.
Down there! Hands up!
Elena didn't raise her hands. She raised her head, and for half a second, the basement felt like a stage. Footsteps came down the first few steps. Slow, measured, not a goon stomp. A man in a clean vest emerged from the stairwell, stopping at the bottom step, where the basement room opened around him. The commander. His face was calm in the way men are calm when they've decided other people will pay the price.
Stop where you are.
His weapon came up with the ease of training. Elena didn't move. Neither did he. For a moment they watched each other like two versions of the same world. Then the commander fired. One shot, controlled, precise. Elena flinched, sharp and involuntary. She staggered backward across the basement room into Bob's space near the back wall. Her hand went to her abdomen, came away wet. She sucked a breath and tasted metal. Bob made a sound more animal than word.
No!
The commander kept his aim steady from the last step. Behind him, he gave a small hand signal without looking back.
Sweep the rooms, hold the stairs, secure the lower access points, standard protocol.
Boots scraped, then split. Two men moved back up the stairwell, taking positions at the top. The others peeled off into the side hallways, out of sight, clearing rooms deeper in. The commander stepped out from the stairwell into the open basement. The basement opened wide around them. Concrete floor, a pool table shoved off center, folding chairs stacked along one wall like inventory. On the back wall sat a plain metal panel. No labels, no warnings, just old wiring and a lever. The kind of thing men walked past until someone told them it mattered. Elena's shoulder found the wall near it, using it to stay upright. The commander watched her hands, saw the motion. Didn't understand it yet. Elena's fingers slid the key into place at the panel. A small click, the kind of sound that decides a life. A body cam blinked as its wearer brushed past the stairwell, then vanished down a corridor. Recording. Always recording. The open room turned them into something small. Down one of the hallways, metal dragged. A chair leg shrieked against concrete. Her hand found the lever. Her breathing was shallow now, pain forcing it into smaller and smaller spaces. The commander's radio hissed. A clipped voice.
Found the corridor. Blocked. Tunnel access. Copy.
Tell us where the tunnel exits. Cooperate and you get medical. Cooperate and you get pardoned.
He let the words sit. Elena laughed once through the pain. Short. Broken.
I'll offer you one. A pardon. For you.
The commander's eyes narrowed. A flicker, the fertilizer shed warning. Then the wires, disappearing into the dark stacks along another hallway. Then the lever. Then the tunnel.
A pardon for renouncing Meridian City. For renouncing the system. For renouncing yourself.
Something almost like confusion crossed his face, then cleared into contempt.
Order is what keeps the world from collapsing. Stability costs what it costs.
Elena nodded, as if considering. Pain tried to silence her. She refused it. Blood soaked her shirt, darkening fast.
You believe in order. You believe in stability.
She looked him dead in the eye.
Are you willing to die for it?
Silence. The commander didn't answer, just swallowed once. Down the hallway, a radio murmured. One of the goons, eager.
Barricades holding. We're forcing it.
Elena looked at the lever, knuckles white, trembling.
Don't. I have a family.
Leave, or you die with us!
The commander's eyes twitched left, then right, measuring. Not Elena. The room, the hallways, the tunnel, the cost. And then the blinking light on his chest. Recording. His face hardened. The commander turned his chin toward his shoulder. He spoke into his radio like he was erasing his own footprint.
Kill the body cam uplinks. Now.
A hiss. Confirmation. And then, with a small, ugly gesture of surrender, he reached out and ripped his body cam free. Velcro tore. He threw it onto the concrete. A sharp clack, then it skittered across the room. Cheap plastic lay lifeless where it settled.
I'm not dying in a dirt valley over a scheduling dispute.
Elena held his gaze. She didn't move. She didn't blink. The commander hesitated one moment longer. Then he did the thing he'd been fighting not to do, admit fear. He backed up. One step, then another. His boots climbed the stairs faster than he'd descended, retreating, and then he left. Up the stairwell, out of sight, his voice returned, smaller now, safer. His hand went to his radio.
Mark non-compliant. Execute retrieval protocol. Losses acceptable. Close file.
Down the hallway, metal hit wood again. A grunt. A shove.
Tunnel door! Get the bar!
Metal slammed. Once, twice. Somewhere out of sight, a barricaded door took the hits and answered with a deep, sick groan. Dust sifted down in the basement room, fine grit shaken loose by the impacts, settling on the pool table like ash. Elena swayed. Pain tried to fold her in half. She didn't go down. She pressed her shoulder harder to the back wall, right beside the switchboard to stay upright. Her fingers found the compass in her pocket, just to feel it, just to remember Lily's hand pushing it into hers. Bob's head slumped toward her. His eyes were open, but not focused.
Do it, before they breach.
Another slam. Wood cracked. A hinge shrieked. The noise ran through the corridors like a warning. More boots hit the stairwell again. That sound was the trigger. Elena pressed her fingers around the compass, needle steady, then looked at the lever. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't have the air for it. She hit the switch. The world changed in one blunt instant. Not a cinematic boom, a deep concussion you felt in your teeth. Dust poured from the ceiling in sheets. The ceiling above them jolted, then gave way. Stone, wood, and weight collapsed inward. The air turned to grit and heat. The blast came through the basement like a closing fist. Elena was consumed by it. So were the first men down the steps. A sound cut off mid-shout. Then silence. Not peace. Sealed. In the tunnel, Lily stumbled as the concussion chased them. Mara grabbed her hands, shaking, mouth moving, urgent.
Move! Move!
They didn't stop until the tunnel spit them out into brush beyond the hill. Behind them, smoke rose where the church used to be. On the hill, Bob's tower blinked through haze. Patient. Stubborn. People counted heads with shaking fingers. Children first, elders, neighbors, then the names that didn't come back. Mara bent to lift a piece of torn fabric from the dirt, a uniform patch, scorched at the edges. The state seal was still visible. Something dull and metallic lay half-buried beside it. Lily stood among them, dust on her cheeks. She hid her face in the teddy. The fur beneath her eyes was damp. Down the dirt road, a vehicle waited. A school bus, faded yellow, rust freckles. A stop sign arm that didn't quite fold back in. The engine idled rough, rattling the whole frame. A man leaned out of the door. No uniform, just a knit cap and a hand on the wheel.
Come on now, single file.
Lily stared at the bus. She looked back toward the hill. Her mouth opened. Nothing came. A woman behind her set a hand on her shoulder and nudged her forward.
It's okay. It's okay.
The lie wasn't cruel. It was love doing its job. Lily stepped onto the bus. Eyes forward. Someone knocked twice on the frame. An old signal.
Copy. Bob's plan. We're leaving.
The doors wheezed shut, metal on metal, then latched with a hard clunk. The bus rolled out, down the dirt road, toward asphalt. Not everyone went with it. Behind the bus, families broke apart on purpose. 2 here, 3 there, slipping into brush and tree line before anyone could count them. Mara kept moving because stopping was how you got collected. No pocket checks, no inventory, no last looks. just feet learning how to run without making noise. She watched the last of the bus disappear, then turned toward the trees, toward Bob's routes that didn't have names.
We won't let them be the only ones who get to tell it.
The next night, miles away, a public screen in the city refreshed again. A service update.
Thank you for your compliance. Yesterday's incident has been classified minor. No further action required.
People didn't read it. People didn't listen to it. A teenager watched it scroll by and walked faster. And somewhere, through static and distance, Bob's tower held thin and stubborn until fragments of the broadcast slipped into other pockets of quiet. Not an official feed, not a body cam, not an authorized record. A birthday camera left running in the basement, meant for candles and laughter, transmitting the part his orders tried to erase. A commander's voice, Elena. A pardon, footsteps retreating, white concussion, then black. And in the last warped seconds, a commander, running.